You don't have to start with a lot of money. That was a belief I had to unlearn as well. You can start with it, in the crypto world, you can start with 100 euros or pounds. You know, you don't have to have much money. You just need, from having no strategy and losing 40%, I now have working strategies. As an investor, I've grown. I've made 35% last year on my account, which is just the beginning.
You won the biggest percentage gain on the entire portfolio, which is 355% on the entire account.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes.
Was it easy?
Well, I would say it was.
You're a parent of 3, right? Single mum, and still invest. Is it doable to invest on a busy schedule?
I think it needs a strong why, and then dedication, commitment, and resilience. And
okay, so you made 603% on one investment. But I want to go back to the moment that you saw that figure on your screen. 600. How did you feel?
It was just unbelievable. I thought, I was so excited and so thrilled. And I was thankful for the strategy and that it works. And I felt so empowered that I can finally do something. I can build my financial future.
Right, so you saw that and then you said, okay, I feel empowered that I can do that. So does that almost mean that you can do it again?
Yes.
So it's a system that you can
a
repeat.
system.
Amazing. Well, you're a full-time teacher, single mum, no financial background?
Well, I was trained to become a bank clerk, but I
well,
wouldn't class that.
Well, there you go. So that's why.
No, that's not what we learn when we are trained to become a bank clerk. We are the ones who invest the money from our clients, but we would invest it kind of in the investment funds.
Yeah. That's what people don't understand.
Insurance.
And even people come to me and they say, oh, I work with a bank. Yeah, what do you do with a bank? Well, I'm in admin. What has that got to do with anything just because you work in a bank? So pretty much no financial background, especially in trading and investing, right?
Yeah.
Who has grown the crypto portfolio. Listen, you won the award last year, which is fantastic. You won the biggest percentage gain on the entire portfolio, which is 355% on the entire account.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes.
Was it easy?
Well, I would say it was simple, but not easy. Because to learn the strategies themselves, they are simple.
They're simple,
right? You can learn them. It takes a while, but you can learn them. But the whole thing was overwhelming. The crypto world itself, for me, still is sometimes a bit intimidating. And when you start learning how crypto world works, and then how to invest and in which project to invest, you can be quite overwhelmed. Yeah, so it is not easy. You have to keep going, learning, show up to workshops and Q&As, ask your questions, and just keep going, and then it becomes easier every time.
But is that like anything else?
I think it's like anything else. I remember when my daughter tried to learn how to ride the bike. She would fall off and cry the whole weekend, and I was so frustrated with her. At some point I said, just stop then. If it makes,
reverse psychology.
Yeah, I know, but the thing was, she just kept going. Because she says, Mum, I can do it. And then she did, and then she finally could it.
Very good. Okay, so you're distinguishing. It was simple but not easy, just like learning to ride a bike, at that stage anyway, or learning to drive a car. Yeah. But when you first started, how much money did you put in?
Well, I have to say, because as a bank clerk, I started a life insurance. I put money in there, and I realized that this was not a good investment anymore. So I took the money completely out of that.
Ooh.
And I put it into stocks, 5,000 into stocks, 1,000 trading, and 6,000 into cryptos.
Does it matter with how much? What's more important, having enough money to start, or is it starting?
Starting, of course, and that's something I had to unlearn as well. Because in my belief, I thought that you need to have a lot of money to start, to do something, and then build your financial future.
And don't you?
And now I know that you can even start with a very small amount. You just need the right asset or the return on investment, the ROI, and you need the time.
The two together, ROI plus time, is magic.
Yeah.
People just don't want to wait. But just coming back to the starting, you could argue that you even can start with no money while you're saving up because you could go on a demo account.
Yeah, of course, you can learn on a demo account.
Did you ever go on a demo
Yes,
account?
I started on a demo account.
How close to the real thing do you think it is in percentage?
For me, probably something like 70%.
Okay.
Because the thing was, it is a demo account, and my mind knew it. So I was not so. I didn't follow up that.
You weren't as
eagerly
disciplined.
So I didn't move my stop loss that much, or I entered into a stock with a VCA strategy, and then I would not really follow up, So I needed to have my real money, because that gave me the right emotion to negative and positive, but to really take it seriously.
Absolutely. I do still think, though, even if it's for just a week, people should do it just to get the beginners' kind of mistakes out the way, like the stupid stuff that you press the wrong button.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. To learn the platform first, yes. But then, yeah.
Okay. And then you went from losing 40%. This is really interesting, right? So you started with options trading. What were you thinking?
Yeah, well, the thing is, how did I start in the first place? So I was quite unhappy with being a teacher. I'm a teacher in a vocational school in Germany, and I realized at some point that I actually teach a content that is obsolete, that's not preparing my students for the real world out there. And I got a bit frustrated, and I thought, this makes no sense what I'm doing here. Then COVID hit, you had some time to think, and then, financial struggles and everything. And then I came across a finance congress, and I heard these speakers talking about building your own wealth. And I was like, really? Can you do that? Talking about cryptos. And then I saw this one guy talking about options trading and how well he does with it, and, and the profits he makes. And I was like, ooh, that's interesting. And I realized, because I trained to become a bank clerk, I was really interested in stocks at the time. I was in the stock department for 3 months, and it was really, really interesting. But I lost that, because you move from one department to the next, and I forgot about it. But when I then saw him talking about option trading, it reignited some kind of interest in the stock market.
Right.
So so I went on that course. It was really interesting, really great, and I went on a demo account first to learn the platform. I used interactive brokers, which is a bit more complicated, and then I went live, and then I made a mistake. And then I placed a trade, and I didn't realize it is all times 100, and I got a margin call. I had to close it with a loss, and I had to close other trades in loss as well, and I wiped out 40% of my account.
But this was live, not demo.
That was live.
Should have stayed on the demo account a little bit longer.
Yes, I should have learned strategy better. Yeah.
But you went from losing 40% to making over 350% on a single stock. What changed more, your strategy or your self-belief?
Well, first the strategy, of course, because I had none before. So I had to learn a strategy. And with that then, but came the self-development itself, because then I acted on FOMO, the fear of missing out. So I remember once I jumped into one of their stocks, although it wasn't at my entry price yet, just because I wanted to get in before it turns around, and then it dropped and dropped and dropped and dropped. So I'm still in that one. Okay. So and then with trading.
Which one is that?
That was Cara, which is now TRVD.
I know that very well. Yeah.
So and then with trading, you move your stop loss too quickly, because then and then you have the fear of losing. You have some losses in a row. Then you think the market is against you, and then I had to learn to take responsibility. So I'm currently. And I was then reading Trading in the Zone. I read it again right now. So to learn to take responsibility, and to learn that my results reflect where I am right now as a person with my personal development. Isn't
that a really kind of difficult reality to face?
Yes.
Because you don't want that. Yes. You want to blame somebody else.
Because the thing is, I've learned, the school system teaches you to never make a mistake. You're not supposed to make mistakes, then you get bad grades. I mean, no one says to you, oh great, you've made a mistake, learn from it, that's amazing, go and do more mistakes.
Get a red cross.
So it's like, oh gosh, I made a mistake, I'm not looking. So that was a real challenge, to really look at it and say, yeah, that's my doing.
That is so true. So we almost learn that at school. Don't make a mistake. You've just made a loss. That's a mistake, although it's not really. It's just the market. But you take that as a loss. So now you start reacting to your losses. Incredible. So it's taught.
Yeah.
What was the moment that made you think, I need to start investing for real?
Yeah, that was, as I said before, that was the moment when I was really unhappy as being a teacher. COVID came, you had time to think. Heater broke down, I had to take out a loan. Car broke down, I had to borrow money. Debt were growing, and then I thought, this cannot continue. I need to do something. I need a second stream of income. And that's when I came across this finance congress, and then I started options trading. I lost, I wiped out my account by 40%. I thought, this is not the right thing to do. And then I saw you, Marcus, in an interview, and you were talking about we only risk 1% of our portfolio, and I thought, that's what I need.
Yeah.
Exactly.
When you're trading, you shouldn't risk more than 1% of your entire portfolio.
Yeah, so I joined your trading club, and I've never looked back since. So grateful to have learned all that.
I'm glad you were there. What congress was it, by the way?
Oh, it was
Or
a
interview?
German one, I can't remember. The interview was around, it was a circle around Robert Kiyosaki's people, and I got a newsletter saying, people were interviewed about financial education, and then I can't remember who it was actually.
Okay, can you paint a picture of what life looked like before investing? Like financially, emotionally, day to day, what was your life like?
Well, money has always been scarce. There was never enough money, and when the kids came home and say, "Oh, we're going on a class trip, cost 400 euros," it's like, "Oh gosh, how am I going to pay this?" Then they needed new school books. It was 200 euros. With 3 kids, it's expensive, and heater broke down, car broke down. So it was a constant struggle, and I was devastated at times. I thought, where am I supposed to get this money? And I was growing my debt. And I felt like I'm not doing my kids justice. I can't treat them to anything. I can't provide really well. So I felt like I'm a loser. Yeah, I felt I'm, the worst parent ever. So
That must be tough.
yeah, it was.
And then it keeps coming. I mean,
Yeah.
I hope my children are going to watch this interview. I don't think they realize, right?
Yeah.
Like almost. Definitely every week, but sometimes it seems like every day there's like, oh yeah, buy this and do this and do this for the kids at school.
Yeah, yeah. Now my son, my daughter, she's 17. She's doing her A levels, and then she wants to go to Korea. She wants to do a trip. I said, oh, okay, who's going to pay?
Just the money just comes.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, so it was hard. It was hard, and I felt I was in a rat race. It's like I have to work more to get more money, but I was also exhausted, so I couldn't do more. So I was actually, I was constantly exhausted. So I couldn't focus on really being a teacher, being fully there, because I was exhausted. I couldn't really be with my kids because I was exhausted. So I knew, and I had no idea I could do something about it. I knew nothing about investing. Yeah. So I saw no way out. Until then, I learned about, with the speakers I heard and listened to you, that I learned that I can do something. I can take responsibility.
I'm just thinking about how many people are listening to this and thinking, wow, that's me.
Yeah.
But maybe feeling that there's nothing that they can do about it. Can they do something about it?
Yes, they can, definitely. But you just need the courage and to take the first step and get out of your comfort zone as well.
Sure, but when you're in overwhelm, and that's the next question, you've got a full teaching load. Yeah. You're a parent of 3, right? Single mum, and still invest. Is it doable to invest on a busy schedule?
Absolutely. I think it needs a strong why, and then dedication, commitment, and resilience, and to organize time management. You would probably say self-management.
That's exactly it.
Yeah, right. But it's you have to manage it. So what I did was, so Saturday is my cleaning day, right? So when there were the 3-day workshop, I would get up earlier. I would clean the house so that I'll be ready for the workshop. When we had the break, the lunch break, I would just cook quickly for me and my kids, and then I would go back on on the workshop. And when the kids were in their beds, then I would sit down and do the home play, which were the tasks we were given to do till the next day. So you just have to kind of organize it. And then I learned something about time boxing. So what I did is, because I remember my son at the time, he said, Mommy, you're always sitting in front of the screen. And he was like 10. And I said, yeah, but I'm doing this for you. So I do this to later on have more time to, don't have to work that hard anymore. So I have more time to spend with you. And then he said, yeah, but Mommy, then I'm older and I might not want to spend more time with you. I want to spend time with you now. So I'm like, oh gosh. I said, yeah, you're right.
Okay.
So then I said, okay, well, what we do, I said, I really, really want to do that though. So what we do is we find time during the day that I put everything aside and I just spend the time with you.
That's time boxing, is it?
Time boxing.
Okay.
So I had I boxed in a time for him.
Yeah.
So we would sit in the morning, I said, okay, today I have to do this and that and that, and then, but here is a slot, here's an hour, and that's your hour, and I would really mark it in my calendar, and then we would sit together, and then I had a trade running, and then I wanted to see if I need to move my stop loss, and he would go, no, Mommy, this is my time now. It's like, oh yeah, you're right.
Wow.
So so I think it just needs, really needs the dedication and the organization, and I think then you can do it.
Yeah, so it's possible, but you do need to change a few things if you're serious about it, of course, and want to make it work as opposed to just magic.
And of course, then life comes in the way, and I think you also need to be fine with that, and don't be hard on yourself at the moment. But it might be that a kid is, for example, is ill, and then you need to be there, and then of course you cannot go on the Q&A maybe, or watch the webinar, or then you need to have the time for your kid, but that's life, and then you just need to come back on this horse, if you like, and
that's the thing.
Continue.
Don't lose the momentum.
Yes.
Yeah, as long as you don't lose the momentum, it's fine. Because there's always another trade, there's always another investment. That's not going to go away. Do you need to go onto every Q&A?
You don't need to. I mean, it helps though, because you will always pick up something. There's always a gold nugget somehow. But you could also skip one. And if you have a question, you just hop on the next one and you ask your question, or you ask it on Facebook.
Well, like we said, now we record the Q&As as well. So.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Okay, so let's talk about overcoming some of these challenges. Being a single parent must come with its own unique challenges. How has this influenced, though, your relationship with money?
Well, so money was always scarce. There was not enough money. And so I came... when I started out, I came from a scarcity mindset. I couldn't believe that there's enough money out there. It's just, there's not enough money, and especially not for me. That was my beginning. Then I was also in this victim mentality. So when I lost, when I had a loss, it was, so the world is against me, the market is against me. So this victim mentality was there.
And also, it sounds like self-fulfilling prophecy, because most beliefs are self-fulfilling prophecies. Yes, so the more you believe it, the more it happens. The more you believe it, the more it happens. The more you believe it, the more it happens. Yeah.
So I needed to change a lot around that. So that was where I started from, and because I was working, because I really believe, I know you say 80% mindset, 20% strategy. I really believe it's 90% mindset, because if your mindset is on scarcity and victim mentality, you will sabotage yourself. You will not be able to see the possibility that is out there. So I believe to work on that is much more important. And so that's what I did over the time to develop my growth mindset and believe that I can do this, and there's enough money out there and enough opportunities, and if I miss one, then there will be another one.
Do you think that that's what you need to work on before you learn the strategy, or can you do it at the same time? I
mean, I think you can start before, but some emotions and some beliefs will just come up the moment you're doing it, because as I said, when I went with my life money and I had these losses, there were different emotions than on the demo account. Right. I wouldn't mind losses on the demo account.
And you've had how many losses in a row?
12.
12. That's not the record, unfortunately. 22 is the record.
Oh gosh.
You need to work harder.
Yeah, okay, I will. Yeah. No, I won't.
Now, you lost 40% early on. that's through the options trading that you learned somewhere. That would break most people.
Yeah.
40% said, this is not for me, right? How did that moment change the way that you approach investing?
So, funnily enough, investing not so much. I can't say why, but I don't mind when I invest because I know it's for the long run. And when the stock goes down or the crypto goes down and I see it's minus 50, minus 60, I just invest more. So I get in more. I don't mind because I know at some point it's going to come up.
If you choose the right ones.
If I choose the right one. So I concentrate on blue chips, you know, mostly. Or growth. Mostly. Yeah, I went into Palantir, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
so,
I mean,
at the time it was not a blue chip, right?
Yeah,
so
just riding a trend, the AI trend. But no, you're right. You're right.
So investing was not a problem, but trading's much more. So with the losses in a row and everything, so that was, that was.
But you know what's really interesting? Most people don't realize, and I wish I had a flip chart now. If you lose 1%, right, of however much money you have, then you're down to 99%, right? Because you've just lost 1%. But then you risk 1% now of the smaller amount, the 99% that's left.
Yeah.
That 1% is now a smaller amount.
Yeah.
So it's inverse compounding. In other words, you're losing less and less and less and less and less and less and less. But when you compound positively, you make more and more and more and more. And I quite like that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
it's really great.
Yeah,
I forgot about that, by the way, in the beginning.
Yeah.
So I had to, because I use TradingView for trading, and in this long position box, I would put in the account balance, and I forgot to adjust it to, because when I had losses, I had a less amount. So interesting.
Oh, that's good. Okay, so then you joined your trading club with us back in 2022. Now, looking back over these years, how do you feel that you've grown as an investor, but also as a person? Let's do investor first.
Yeah, I think I've made huge progress, because from having no strategy and losing 40%, I now have working strategies. I struggle with technical analysis. I remember the first time I was looking at a chart, I was like, what the hell is this? You know, what? And now becoming much better, and I really, in fact, I love it, technical analysis. So I think as an investor, I've grown. I've made 35% last year on my account, which is just the beginning, you know. So yeah, I think I've grown a lot as an investor and as a person as well, because over the time, you know, when I came from the scarcity mindset and the victim mentality now to growth mindset, see what is possible, taking responsibility and building the second stream of income, is just has given me confidence, and I'm currently backtesting on a regular basis to give me more confidence that the strategies are working, maybe to adapt a little bit to be more profitable than I am. And so I'm very confident to hit my financial goal.
Does it transmute? Does it kind of copy over to other parts of your life, or is?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, like.
I think it. Yeah, I mean, you become more confident in trading, but also as a person in general. And because you're able to take this responsibility for yourself and your family, this gives you a self-confidence. You become a more positive person as well, because I was seeing money very negatively. So I had a very negative relationship to money. Now changing it to a more positive relationship. And if you believe that, you know, it reflects where you stand in life as well. So there's also the law of resonance. Is that the right word?
Yeah, do you believe that?
Yeah, I believe in that.
Mm-hmm.
So and I money was just there. I never appreciated it. It was there and it was spent.
Yeah.
So now I start to really appreciate the money that I receive, my income, but also the wins. So I started to celebrate, which was in the beginning for me very hard and odd as well, you know. But now it's like, yeah, ka-ching, and then I dance around and I scream, and so I try to. That changes with everything. So it's not only the win of trading, but it's also the win in life. When I do something and I'm successful, I start to celebrate it. I appreciate.
Why do you celebrate it?
Because it's my doing. I did this, and I start to become a more confident person, more positive person, more open. I got out of my comfort zone a lot.
So how does that change in your life, getting out of your comfort zone?
Well, amazing. I dare to do much more things than I did before.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, so I challenge myself on a regular basis. And it can be even small things like taking a cold shower, which was horrible in the beginning, but now you get used to it. And then I choose the next thing. So in the past year, I've done a lot of courses as well, starting with Millionaire Mindset, to where I get out of my comfort zone and challenge myself, not only in investing, but also in life.
That's awesome. And what have the results been in other areas of your life?
Good question.
Or is it just a feeling?
It's just it's a feeling of being more lively, of being able to appreciate life and live your life more.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It feels like it's an amazing journey. It's like, woo.
Well, we actually believe that the whole journey of creating wealth is actually a spiritual journey.
Yeah.
Because you have to change as a person.
Yeah.
The market's just the market. It doesn't even know you exist, right? So you have to change in order to take your piece out every month or every quarter or whatever, and to add more value to yourself and the people around you. I mean, you really need to grow. You need to learn things that you maybe never would have thought.
Yeah.
When you're a teacher, most teachers, I'm guessing, don't forget about trading. They're definitely not going to be trading. They're not going to be investing, most teachers.
Well, some do. But I have a colleague, by the way, who's investing, but he's like this type of, when it drops, he's getting out. So
it's the old buy high, sell low
strategy. A lot of emotions in there. And, as we say, when emotions are high, the intelligence is low.
When this other teacher sees your results, are they curious or do they just stick with their own stuff?
Well, I actually made a mistake, I have to say. In the beginning, I was telling my colleagues about it because I was kind of proud of myself, and now I shouldn't have done that, because now things, they would say that, oh, you're still working here, so it's not going so well, right?
Wow, that's how people think. It's kind of all or nothing. Whereas what you're doing is you're building a second pillar so that the first one is stable.
Yeah.
I mean, your financial freedom structure is stable, right?
Yeah.
So not just one pillar.
Yeah.
So that's how they think. It's like, okay, if you're doing something, you must be a millionaire. Why aren't you a millionaire
Yeah,
yet?
exactly.
It's like, calm down.
Yeah.
I'm just building another pillar so I don't have to rely on the first one. How interesting.
Yeah.
So a bit of sarcasm, a bit of jealousy, a bit of...
True. And then I have one colleague, I told about Bitcoin, Ethereum, and he didn't know anything about cryptos. And they said, yeah. And I said, yeah, their strategies work and they're great and everything. And he would go, okay. And then he bought Ethereum, and then Ethereum got up, and he came to me one day and he said, oh, thank you so much. I would have never gotten into Ethereum if you hadn't told me. And he was able to pay his holiday with it, with the profit he made.
Oh, okay.
So that was also the other.
Well, that's great.
But he killed the cow.
But then he killed the cow. You spent the money. He killed the cow.
Yeah.
So that's why you need to learn the whole strategy, not just a piece of the strategy. Oh, it's interesting, huh? But the beliefs that people have. Okay. So when you read the book, I mean, one of the books, The Lunchtime Trader, the ebook version, what made you think reading it, if he can do it, I can do it too, by reading a book?
I think you had a way to describe it in a very simple way. So when I read it, I thought, oh, it actually doesn't sound too complicated. So I thought, okay, this is possible. This is actually possible. Let's try. Let's give it a try. If you can do it, you can try it at least, and you can probably do it.
Why do most people not think that?
I don't know. I have to say, to be honest, in the beginning, it was like, if I can do it, you can do it. And I was like, yeah, no, not me, but you can. Yeah, but not me. So I think that's also kind of victim mentality, probably.
Even if, because I always give examples of other people, now you're part of them, that can do it. Even that doesn't...
In the beginning, no. But after a while, when you then see, it does work. And it also works with you. Your strategy works.
Sure.
You get profits.
But I'm trying to get people to believe that earlier. Yeah, I struggle with that. But
I think it's the repetition. It's like you have to to how do you say in English? It's to let it sink in your brain by repeating it again and again.
Okay. Talking of, we all carry beliefs about money from childhood. Either childhood or growing up, was there a moment when you realized that some of those beliefs probably were holding you back?
I think I did not really realize it, but they were kind of on my journey. They were popping up, and then I dealt with. So you have to work hard for money. Not that money could work for you, but you have to work hard for money. That was one thing. Investing is risky. You know, you might lose everything, and you might. I mean, it depends if you don't have a strategy or But
it's interesting because everything that you just said, it does sound like believable. You've got to work hard for your money. Well, yeah. You might. Investing is risky. Well, yeah, so is driving a car if you don't know what you're doing. So investing is risky if you don't know what you're doing. Yeah. But then it goes very quickly to investing is risky, ... You might lose all your money. Whoa! That went very extreme, very, very fast, And that's, it's so, I find it fascinating, the human psyche and the beliefs just around money. They're not good.
Yeah.
They don't help.
And that's where it started. I mean, to believe that rich people are really ruthless, greedy, arrogant,
And do you want to be greedy?
I don't want to be that.
Exactly.
No, so exactly. So I would sabotage myself. Yeah. And I thought, well, where does that come from? I mean, if you watch the films, the Hollywood films, very often it is just shown there. So it's kind of...
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I had to unlearn this. And believe, and the more I met people who are already wealthy, and I saw what good they do in the world, I thought, so that's not true.
That's not true.
Not at all.
Well, it depends what you focus on.
Yeah, because if you are a bad person, you have more money, you will do bad things with more money. But if you're a good person and you have more money, you will do good with more money.
That's right.
But I did not know that in the beginning. So there were a lot of beliefs, limiting beliefs I had that I had to uncover. Bitcoin is, illegal, darknet, all these kind of things. So it's like it's human psychic that if you don't understand something, you make a story that it's very bad and dangerous,
Yeah, it's crazy, huh?
So you have to you have to learn about it and you understand it, and then it's not so scary anymore.
I went through the same thing. I couldn't believe how much money I left on the table. Tens of millions. And you could argue I should have known better because I'm actually in the industry, right? But it was that stopped me from getting in the first place.
Yeah.
Crazy. So if you were sitting across from a single mum right now, someone who's doing her best but struggling financially, what would you say to her?
Well, I would say, when is now the best time? It's now. So start.
But I don't have time.
I think you don't need much time in the beginning. Just take one step at a time. Just see how much time you can put into this. Be dedicated and committed. Have your strong why. Learn a proven strategy. And then take consistent, maybe imperfect, action. Make mistakes. Learn from them. And then build your wealth.
But not only do I not have time, I don't really have the money.
You don't have to start with a lot of money. That was a belief I had to, unlearn as well. You can start with it, in the crypto world, you can start with €100 or pounds. You don't have to have much money. You just need an asset with a return of investment, an ROI, and you need the time. And then you will not be a millionaire overnight, but you will become worthy over time. So, and what I really love and what I would encourage that person, the single mom or who is out there, is to learn this strategy, become successful, teach it to your children, and then they can teach it to their children, and then you can build financial independence across generations. And I think that is so valuable.
Oh, wow, yes.
And that's my plan, and I would encourage every one of you out there to do the same thing.
I'm sure you're going to do it.
I will.
We'll do it together.